All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be going over the SP 500 and the Nasdaq 100. We're going to start right with the S&P on the day. Now, going into today, I anticipated more upside and really just overall for the market moving forward. That's what I anticipate going into the Fed meeting. You need to be watching out for two things before we even dive deep in anything is PCE data and then that Fed meeting because that's going to dictate how we move going forward. But let's talk about what happened today. Out of the gate, NQ did have that dip. And if you don't know, we're live every morning, 7 a.m. Central, an hour and 30 minutes before market open, doing the pre-market live. So you had that nice drop basically from 11.9 all the way down to around 11.8. And then you kind of didn't hold it there at the end of the day. We're going to get into that here in a second. Now, from that, I want to express the strength of the market. A lot of people were commenting on my last video saying, Tyler, the Dow isn't leading. It's this, it's that. And again, if you don't see that, if you just choose to not listen or pay attention, it's okay. I'm not going to run anyone down. Wish you the best of luck. I just share my unbiased opinion when you come here. So you know just what I'm looking at. Now, so we saw Nasdaq coming down. Now, typically this would resemble tech getting smacked. If we look at something like Nvidia, some of these Nasdaq plays, they still look really good, just on support, ending the week. This is okay. And it's worth mentioning volume was atrocious today. Again, I want to highlight really quick, just volume about 15 minutes after market close, 25 million half a day. Terrible volume, right? There's nothing really going on there. So I do want to say all things considered, this is interesting where we're at, and I think it shows the strength of the market. Going and looking at S&P futures, look here. I think you still look great, personally. I still think you look fantastic. This is the 5-minute chart. I recommend looking at the 1-hour chart to really see the overall trend. And you're just sitting at highs. This is where you're at. You don't look bad. I think you're preparing to maybe get that push up to 4,100. We talk about 40, 36, 40, 40 being the next big resistance where we're at. And that's what we have right now. So that's where we're at. Looking at Dow, just so you can see, Dow, again, leading the market. Everyone tried to tell me, Dow's going to drop. Guess what? Dow was the only thing that stayed up the entire day, okay? Now, that's what we're looking at. That's how we're seeing the market moving right now. I anticipate upside. I'll give you targets here in a second. Before we get into that, I ask you to consider doing two things: liking and subscribing. Every single day I make videos for you so you're prepared and you know what to expect going into each and every trading day. I tell you exactly what I'm trading and how I'm trading it. Now, I do want to say, this is my opinion, how I'm trading. Do your own DD. Don't come here looking for an answer. Come here looking for data and different things you can pull from the market, okay? That's what I recommend. Now, going into today, what did I say? I said I like a few things. I still have some Tesla calls. Tesla's still looking fine. And then I liked Boeing. I did not trade Boeing, but I told everyone here about it. So if we go to BA and look at how you're moving. You're breaking out. You had a big push from 174.5 all the way almost to 178.5. Getting ready for the breakout to that move towards 190. I still like what I'm seeing here. Very, very nice. Following the Dow, this is what you wanted to see. That's why I said, if I'm looking here, I want really strong stocks if I'm going to long them and I want to have time on them. You got insider buying happening also. This is what you want to see here, people. This is what you want to see. So Boeing, we like this. Moving towards targets, you're getting a breakout. If you get a break above local highs, 179.4, I believe you're queued up to get a push to 185, then possibly 190. Love to see it there. Rest of the market, there wasn't too many great things to be looking at. But going into this week, specifically coming up, I want to say oil is got to be the top of your watch list. I believe December 5th, I believe not this week, next week, is going to be your G7 meeting, which is all about the oil price cap, people. That's going to be big. It's a big driving force, and it's why oil is so bullish right now. Again, if you go to the daily chart, you're sitting at all-time highs here, and it's basically at everything. Oxy's up there, Chevron's up there, Devon Energy. These are some of the West Texas oil plays, Devon Energy, Fang, Diamondback. They're all sitting very high. That's because oil is very strong. So be on the lookout for oil to get a breakout in this coming week. Also, Home Depot. We're talking a lot about these Dow stocks, right? Home Depot is trying to get the breakout, people. And this is where things get interesting. If you get the breakout over this level, and I want to highlight, you have a big daily double bottom. Okay, I want to highlight, right? You have your bottom here. This video is a little bit different than usual, but I want to highlight just where we're at, bottom here. If you get the break above your neckline here, just going to tell you right about here, let me bring it down, over 30, 333. In my opinion, you have room to run to 370. This could get beautiful. This could get great. Keep Home Depot on your chart. I already mentioned we got that push up to supply, and now you're trying to just push right through, so you love to see it. But we're going to go back to SPY. I just want to highlight some of those stocks I like before I forget. SPY. There's a few things we need to look at and be cautious of when you're trading it this week. One, where are you at? You're coming into your daily 200 moving average right there. Now, I just want to highlight how this has moved. You've been rejected here quite a bit. Once, twice, potentially your third time. So this is a big level, but if you get volatility through it, I think you could easily start to push up. It's also worth mentioning this is very close to our supply, around 409 to 410. So I want to highlight that's our target on SPY, 409, 410. So I'm not saying too much room past this in the short term, but if we get above this, we could easily start moving up to 420. But I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. Stay with the targets right in front of us right now. Qs, a lot of questions about this. In my opinion, your target here has got to be around 292, 294. You never could break above. I want to say this really clear though. Nasdaq and tech are lagging in comparison to everything else. You need to understand that. If you're trading the market, that's the biggest risk that you're going to take, is taking anything in the Nasdaq just because it's lagging so much. And I just gave you a prime example of what's exactly happening there. So when you're looking at this, keep your head on a swivel in these trades. But in my opinion, the safer plays are going to be Dow and specifically SPY names. That's why I love Tesla. So I think Tesla, I think still has room. Favorite play right now. That's what I have heavy into still. Going forward, Nasdaq target 294, 292. That's what I see there. Now, I do want to do a little bit of what's happening with the dollar. I'm trying to run through this video pretty quick, get you guys out of here for the weekend, a good holiday weekend also. The dollar. People keep asking me about it. What do I think here? Do I think the dollar is going to pump this or that? Again, I want to be really transparent with where we're at. Right? Actually, I'm going to go to the 4-hour. It's a little bit cleaner. So if we go to the 4-hour chart and just let you get full screen here. When the dollar was in this range, right? When it was holding these lows at 109.5, it was a lot more influential. When it dropped below this, on pumps, you're seeing less of an impact on stocks. Now, I am still watching the dollar. However, it's not as influential, not as important, not as critical for me unless you're over the 109 area. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's my opinion, how I see us moving, everything in between. You need to get back above that level. Is it possible? It is. But I want to say you're probably not going to get above that level until the Fed meeting, okay? Unless the Fed meeting, something else happens with data, but that's my personal opinion. Right now, you continue to hit these levels, you're getting bounces, but it looks like you're just going to keep dropping. If we look at yields, another very important area, the 10-year, you're still, you're below the 4% level. That's when you're really bearish there. Go to the 30-year, below 4%. But what I will say is the possibility of getting a full inversion here. You do like this. You're still sitting up here pretty high. You're holding those higher lows continuously here, right? This is what you ultimately wanted to see, and you're still holding it. So I don't think we're out of the woods. I still think there's a cause for potential downside, but I want to tell you right now, be careful with overall what you're doing, because I do see this maybe dropping below the trend line here pretty soon. And again, I'm going to make a video this week going over my long-term projections on just the market and how I'm preparing for it, and if a quote-unquote bottom is in. I'll have a really long, detailed video on that. But for now, this is all I want to say here. I don't want to go too deep into that, and I kind of want to get out of here kind of quick. DIA, the Dow. Again, Dow is extremely bullish. You broke over your key level. You have room all the way up to like 350. I mean, it's incredibly bullish here. So there's nothing really to talk about there. So when I'm looking at broad markets, that's what I'm looking at. And last thing I'm going to actually mention is going to be VIX. VIX. A lot of people are asking me this. They're saying your RSI, your MACD on VIX. First of all, I want to tell you, get your MACD and your RSI on the weekly and the daily. They're okay. But for the most part, guys, those don't factor in volume. Those don't factor in price action. They're useless for me. Now, I do want to highlight that. You're coming right back down into this massive level where you've tried and tested so many times, 20 to roughly, I believe it is, 19 roughly down here. We've seen this a lot. So I'm looking for this lower end 18 to 19 touch. And that's going to happen by the Fed meeting, it looks like. So I think that projects us to get upside in the short term, okay? Short-term upside going into the Fed meeting. And then it does leave the possibility of a big spike to come on VIX, because every time we come down here, we have seen a bounce. So I do want to highlight that. going to the Fed meeting, it's going to be pivotal. You're going to have the 200 daily MA coming up on the SPY and ES. You're going to have a massive level on VIX. There's a lot of big things really coming in here. The dollar is going to be dropped, so it's going to have tons of room to possibly pop back up to the upside. So I just want people to be prepared here. But in the short term, I still like my calls. I still like the upside potential here. I will probably look for some put plays just from a risk reward standpoint going into the Fed meeting. I'll talk about that when it comes. But for right now, short term, next week or so, I still see continued upside. If you were going to see downside, I believe today you would have started seeing that. And the clear thing for me that downside or the bears just don't have that much gas here is look at what happened with NQ. NQ, we know it's weak. We know the Nasdaq is the weakest of the week right now, right? Nice drop on the day. You held your key level, your previous high right here. But I want to highlight, what did ES do? It didn't really do much. It held up pretty well all day. The Dow made new highs locally. I have to look at this from a bullish perspective right now. I got to say that. That's my opinion, how we're doing. And again, if you looked at Boeing, right? Again, I'm just saying, I try to tell all you guys. I try to give you as much free content as possible, right? That's what I try to do. If you're not on Twitter, I recommend getting on Twitter, people, because I'm posting for you guys every single day. And so you know, today is the last day for the discount of the half price of everything when it comes to our Discord. Today's going to be the last day, so make sure you check it out. Code NOV50. It should automatically be put in there for you, so make sure you're getting in if you can. Again, I'll see you guys on Sunday. A lot of free content is going to be coming out, more videos coming. Have a good one.